Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we will go straight over to those Bitcoin charts. So yeah, Bitcoin on the 4 hour. As you can see, this was my annotations. I had to annotate this to I didn't have to, but I annotated it and then published it to my TradingView. So basically I'll do this every day if you guys are following my TradingView, so I'll actually delete this now. But yeah, you can see what we said yesterday. Bitcoin breaks up and holds 36k, then 38k is the next target. So there was the 36k, we broke up and held it, and then there's your 38k target was hit. So it's nice to see everything working out all to plan. Can I delete this? Yes. Gone. There we go. I guess the text box is still there, but oh well. Oh, that might be gone now. Right, so where do we go from here? So first and foremost, this head and shoulders is looking pretty much invalidated now, which is good to see. It is definitely good to see. Again, what realistically happened was we had the game of levels. We lost this level. We came down, tested the next level, lost that level, wicked down to the lowest level, got back up again, and then yeah, we tried to test up back to this middle level of this range, back down, back tested this, and then managed to break back up to the top of the range. So yeah, I mean, it is mainly a game of levels. You guys know that I look more just at horizontal levels. Then I'll look at chart patterns, not so much head and shoulders usually, but this one was looking a bit obvious. And then finally, well, obviously TDs as well, as one of the most important ones for me. And then finally at diagonal trend lines. So that is kind of how I do my TA. Horizontals first. Then, well, horizontals first, TD sequentials and horizontals probably about the same, but obviously TD sequentials I look at higher time frames and they don't come in as often, so they're not as relevant on a daily basis. But yeah, so horizontals, TD sequentials, chart patterns, but I prefer triangles, to be honest. I prefer triangles and bull flags as opposed to head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders. But yeah, chart patterns and then diagonal trend lines. So yeah, so what are we doing at the moment? So we are testing up here. So we are at a decision point. We're at a decision point here. Are we basically going to break above this level? In which case, if we do, well, if we do, I mean, there's our next level. We've obviously got this this interim mid level as resistance, which is what we pretty much have between most of our ranges. As you can see, here's the middle level. If you can see down here, here's roughly the middle level. Roughly, obviously, this could be brought down a bit lower, as you can see. But we had it drawn on just to show the break above that level. But yeah, we could drag this lower because that was obviously the more important level, the bottom of this triangle. And as you can see, mid-level, mid of the range here. So what we are potentially looking at, if we get a break into here, our next resistance will be the middle of the range. But ultimately, if we enter this range, the next real target is up here. So that would what we'd be looking at. So we have obviously the price can go up or the price can go down. The price can go up. We can have a wick into here, trade a little foray into this area, get rejected, come back down and actually trade out this range. Or we could get into here and then hold in here. If we consolidate above this resistance, again, obviously consolidating above resistance is key. Consolidating above resistance indicates that we are gonna most likely continue to the upside. As you can see, didn't consolidate above this resistance. In fact, it was below it, so we came down, came straight below it, so it came down. But then we consolidated above this one, so then we pushed up. And as you can see, it's not really consolidation, but we held above this one, so we pushed up. Obviously, it is important whether you are above or below resistance. Obviously, this is the sort of thing that I'm saying could happen. You get the resistance, you break up, you get above there, but then you fail and come back down, and then obviously there was a very swift rejection there, but obviously bought back up, and then consolidating above resistance. Above resistance means continuation to the upside. most likely. Below resistance, consolidating below resistance actually would indicate a more likely move to the downside. I know we consolidated below resistance here. I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, but that was obviously in a bull trend coming up. If we are in a bear trend coming down and we're consolidating below resistance, then obviously there is a more greater likelihood that we do come down. But yeah, and then as you can see, consolidated around this, under this resistance, but broke up, and then yeah. So anyway, so we've gone over those basic trading principles that I adhere to, that I basically think are important. So yeah, Bitcoin basically looking good. Like I said, all we needed to do was hold the 35,000 area, and then hold above, trade above here, and then we get up to 38k. We invalidate all of this. Looks like another lower high, and we can see what happens. Do I think there is a very strong possibility of trading sideways just within this larger range? Yes, I definitely do think that. But obviously, if we get above here, we break above here. Here's a target, and then, I mean, it's just a game of breakouts and targets and the levels to reach basically, and the trend, the trend clearly being up. So yeah, obviously what happens in bull markets, you do get lots of I say lots, you don't necessarily need lots of actual retail FOMO people, because those retail FOMO people, they come in with real fiat, and they go to exchanges like Coinbase and they market buy basically real Bitcoin. They're not so much like the Tether, which isn't necessarily real dollars, and that then goes and trades on exchanges where it's derivatives of Bitcoin. So it is a little bit different when retail people come in, but when they do, their small amount of capital can actually keep pumping price up. I did notice this in 2017, just the crazy like market buyers that would come in just whenever. Basically, it was clearly just whenever these people's money cleared on Coinbase, they would just then market buy Bitcoin. And obviously with a pullback and all the fanfare around Bitcoin and crypto at the moment, I was not surprised to see all the FOMO, just more FOMO retail people potentially could come in basically and buy us back up. So that's what happens in a bull market, especially when we start getting media attention like we're getting. I mean, it's almost a little bit of a red flag, the amount of media attention we have been getting recently. It is a little bit of a red flag, but hey, it doesn't have to be that way. We can still keep going up even with as many red flags as waving furiously in the sidelines as we like. We can still keep on going. Yeah. So anyway, let's have a look at Ethereum, Bitcoin. Obviously not really keeping up with the Bitcoin move, as you can see, but we are down yet again at our important lower levels. So we've got to hold this level and move back up. Otherwise it's curtains. It's curtains for alt season, curtains for ETH, and we're coming down to here. But do I think that will happen? We're closer to it. Therefore, it is more likely we're going to break and come below here than go above here at this point. Chart wise. But my fundamental views, do we even care about them? But yeah, my fundamental views would be, yeah, we probably can just bounce off here, move back up and break up. But yes, so far as TA people don't really like fundamentals, so they call them funny mentals, and they just like I should really just ignore them and look at the chart. But yeah, I mean, I can still look at this in the context of a bull flag just playing out within these two levels. So it's not necessarily saying we definitely have to break below, but we're closer to this breakdown point. So it is a bit dicey here, to say the least. If Bitcoin gets a bit more of a big spike up, then I fully would expect this to come down. If Bitcoin gets rejected here, or just has a wake up and comes back below and just consolidates around here, then I would expect this to shoot back up, ETH to shoot back up to basically this high and beyond, and then onwards and upwards. And now obviously looking at this USD pair, and you can see this is not looking the worst. We've had a nice pullback. We are looking decent here. We obviously the midpoint of the move down is where I usually say is get back and hold that. Then we're going back to above and beyond. So we are testing that at the moment. Tested it a few times. Obviously here rejected and testing it again and inching above it now. So this is looking good. But to be honest, I don't really look at this USD pairing so much. basically we analyze Bitcoin, and that's going to tell us the direction of the overall crypto market. So that's going to just drag this in the direction. So the important one then is, what is Ethereum doing against Bitcoin? So you'll notice this is a lot more important chart to me, and should be to you guys as well if you're involved in altcoins, because this overall direction is going to decide whether you're going to be better off in alts or in Bitcoin, or potentially not in crypto at all. So yeah, as in just get out into stablecoin or fiat or whatever. But Bitcoin dominance as well. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, this is an important horizontal level, which we are looking to get back above. So that's obviously not great, but could we get rejected here and come back down? We very much could. So let's keep our fingers crossed. This head and shoulders is similarly basically nullified, what's the word, invalidated. So obviously we can ignore that pattern now, but are we going to have a high, a lower high, a lower high, and get rejected here and come down? Hopefully hopefully I would say. So yeah, stocks looking good, as you can see. So yeah, DXY, our all important DXY, it is trapped between its little range at the moment. This level here, this level here. Nice pullback off the 409. You guys know 409 is my favorite. Obviously that marked the high, pullback down to just the lower end of the range, lower horizontal. Also, you guys know is my favorite, horizontals, TD9s and horizontals, and then bounce off that horizontal. But this bounce is not looking like it's looking like a lower high. Obviously, if we take out this level, I would guess we're going to take out this level, and in which case we are going to resume downwards. So I've done a deep dive into the dollar index, so you kind of know I am aware I'm not one of these analysts that's just dollar bearish. I have looked at the greater picture, and I still am of pretty much the dollar bearish camp. But we could easily get up to 92 if we do want to, if we so wish. So yeah, let's have a look finally at the stochastics. How are they looking? Yeah, 4 hour. I mean, we said yesterday 4 hour. If this keeps driving up, it's going to basically take Bitcoin back up and beyond to the top of that range, which it has done. 10 hour as well was turning up, so that's probably going to be coming up quite nicely now. So this guys has got a lot of room to run to the upside, as you can clearly see. 12 hour has now turned up as well and has got plenty of room to run to the upside. And even daily starting to kink back up a bit. So I mean, this is a really good, this has got a lot of potential. There is a lot of potential energy in this move. We are in an overall bull trend. They've had basically a bullish reset. We are there, and actually there or thereabouts in the bigger scheme of things, at around 38,500 Bitcoin. We are there or thereabouts the all-time high still. I know the all-time high is like, what is it exactly, 41 something, but look, we are very close. So we are very close with 10-hour stochastics with a lot of room to run, 12-hour stochastics with a lot of, well, room to run if they start running up. I mean, it's only just crossed now. It can obviously has to start to get moving up, and if daily then also points back up as well. I would probably ignore the 4 hour. The 4 hour, because obviously we're looking at 10, 12 and daily is obviously more important than 4 hour. 4 hours given us obviously this nice move so far. It can consolidate, hold up here, do whatever, but the main thing I'm looking at is these at the moment. Now these are the point of interest, and they are looking like guys, if they get going, that we are basically going to be coming and testing around this 46k zone. So that would be my my guesstimate, my crystal ball prediction. But yeah, like I said, get and hold above here, then obviously next target, maybe pull back there, and if we're going to go all the way up to here, and yeah, stochastics looking good, looking like a very nice bullish reset, a nice pullback in trend, a nice higher low, respecting levels all the way. Yeah, looking good, guys. Looking good here, guys. Trending markets are the easiest markets to trade. I'm not saying they're easy. That was the wrong word. Easiest doesn't. I'm not trying to say they're easy, but they are easier. They're not as hard, basically. That's it. Maybe not as hard to trade. Trading's hard. Trending markets are not as hard to trade. So yeah, we are in one of those, and hopefully it can stay easier, stay not as hard for us to predict. So yeah, that is it, guys. Also back to this head and shoulders, like no one's really said it, but some of you guys may be thinking, well, he was calling it head and shoulders, calling 20k. I was only calling it that if that is how it played out. I expected the bounce there. I expected this to trade sideways for some more, not to come straight down and take us out again. As I explained it, and then if it did come down and break and confirm, then that is the trigger. We didn't break down, we didn't confirm, we didn't even really on a closing basis lose this level, so the pattern was never confirmed. So for any of you guys that are thinking this is what I was calling our super bearish, calling 20k based off this, I was only pointing that out, as I do with all my analysis, as a possibility if we get the confirmations. If we close a 4-hour candle below this level, then yes, it is game on to the downside. But did we do that? No. So was it game on to the downside? No. So yeah, there we go, guys. Thank you for listening. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall maybe speak to you guys later on today.